You're still watching Living the Life. Rachael Onyemairo is a PhD student and the founder of Innovative Minds Vision Africa, where they train the minds and empower the hands of young people across the African continent to be able to employ themselves and others through problem-solving skills and approaches that meet global standards. She's the director of the famous innovative business institution known as Innovators iSpace, which is focused on helping visionary entrepreneurs build globally relevant brands using their personality specifics and highly innovative business ideas. She's also the CEO of a tech-based business firm called Digital Spotlight Consult. She has authored 3 books and has other publications. Welcome.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure being with you.
Yeah. Now, reading your profile and then reading your story, there's is this the same person, that went through all of these things to become this person and you're still becoming, that's what we're going to be talking about. So the audience will know how far, God has brought you and where he's taking you by the grace of God. Now, your parents, so we're going to go straight. Your parents got divorced at a very early age. You were, I think you said
age 4.
4. Now, your dad had to hand you over to a woman as a house help.
Exactly.
Imagine. And then there was a lot of abuse and, maltreatment. What was the experience like in just a few words?
Oh, well, I could describe the experience as very overwhelming and hopeless. Overwhelming because I was just a child. I wasn't even going to the school at the time. And it was like from left, right, front and back. I was in the situation. I remember one of the times what made me weep a lot was seeing the kids I was taking care of call mommy, run into their mommy's laps and hands, and I didn't have anyone in the whole wide world I could call my mommy. It was overwhelming. It was hopeless because it didn't look like it would end anytime soon.
Wow. Now, there was a time you said two experiences you had. You were almost being murdered.
Yeah.
At some point, there were some ritual killers there, and then you were also almost raped.
Exactly.
What happened? Where were you at that point as a child?
First, I was enrolled in a night school. Night school? Yeah, in a night school where I was the only child. The rest were adults, And it was in the course of going to the school one of the nights, I got to know that our security man was already butchered by these ritualists and some body parts were already taken. And so when I was getting closer, I noticed that everywhere was strange and it wasn't things weren't the way they used to be. And so by the time I noticed, and I almost got to see the side. It was so traumatic. With that trauma, I had to run back, and that was the experience. I was nearly caught in the situation, but God just intervened. And about a year after or so, in the very environment where I stayed, a young man who was a bachelor at the time, it was a narrow escape. He was a pedophile, I didn't know. So I ran into his hands unknowingly, but then I was able to come out, We struggled through and God helped.
Wow. How old were you then?
I was around 11 at the time of the escape from a pedophile. Yeah. But this other one happened when I was about 10 because it was like a 1-year gap.
Yeah, so imagine all these experiences. Now, how did all of this, because, this is very traumatic, how did all of this experience affect your mental health? Growing up, that's really unimaginable.
Sincerely, it did affect me negatively and positively, I must be honest. Especially negatively because it made me see aunties. By aunties, I mean foster parents as very wicked souls. Because the person I lived with when I attended night school wasn't friendly at all. She gave me a lot of injuries. Some of the scars are still on my body and all that. So the other woman and the daughter too. So I felt women who have foster parents were wicked, so it affected me. Besides, I saw men as very hostile and very hard because I could see my dad had issues with my mom, so I felt men was wicked and we were wicked and all that. So, but it still affected me positively because it now made me very strong. I saw life as a race of huddles, so I grew up very strong, and today it helps me a lot. I'm a go-getter because it's mastered me to fight my way hard.
So that leads me to your turning point, because still being a house help at that moment, you didn't, of course, where did you had a dream, you had dreams, or when did you realize that I don't want this life, I want to go to school, I want to find my own path? What was that turning point for you? And what did you do to get to that point?
For me, the turning point was first, I gave my life to Christ when I was 14. That made a whole lot of difference. I mean, it changed almost everything. So, two, I have always been very good at school. I was very brilliant, those kind of children that take first position and all of that. So, because of my constant good performance in school, I felt I was a star. And so, even when I was pressed down, I kept saying it like, I must get over this. A star like me, they would ask, what about that Rachael I used to take first? No, they have to hear Rachael is up. So giving my life to Christ, and my academic performance, was like a propeller. And thirdly was my ambition. I was this kind of woman I've always thought I could think for myself, I could aspire. And for me, my dreams were a must. I must get them. So I followed it hard. And of course, I had to labor a lot. I had to start doing business as a child.
Yeah, I was getting to that because you mentioned you having to hawk around. You were begging at some point,
exactly.
Hawking, selling stuff to, because I knew that at some point you had dropped out of school.
Yes.
So how were you able to get yourself back on that?
In fact, the very first business I did was when I was in primary school. When I finished primary school, I was getting to the secondary school. I had to start making rice. I could cook white rice and stew and all of that and go sell to primary school. I didn't know the taste of that stew till date, but I had to sell. So that was an issue. And then the next one was in secondary school, I had to drop out and began to do sales girl thing. And so I begged, I did businesses in school. I was selling snacks. When I was also in the, I said, come remember, I had to hawk. Okay, I was baking and frying and I was hawking my stuff everywhere because I wanted to do masters at that point.
Oh God, and today, somehow God put everything, so the experiences, I believe, taught you something. Today you've written books, you have started your own organization, what is one lesson you would take away from all of these experiences?
One lesson I've learned is that you are the architect of your life. So you've got to dream your dream and devise a means to achieve it. So for me, it's about have a dream and devise a means to achieve it.
All right. Thank you very much. I really appreciate this moment. I'm just having some very reflective moments right now. But I know that God is doing really new things in your life. And I believe our audience